What is freedom?
What is freedom?
They said that the United States is the land of the free.
But what does being free really mean?
Are you free?
Am I free?
Freedom means different things for different people.
Let's explore what freedom means.
These are the stories from kids like me in the west side of Chicago.
These are also stories from other people from different walks of life.
These are the sounds of freedom.
The violence in my community is what stopped me from being free. I wanted to be free. I wanted to stay out. Doggone street lights. When them came on, I had to be in the house. That stopped my freedom. Due to the violence in my community, my parents wanted to move me and my younger brothers and sisters away because they didn't want us to be around that type of environment. They didn't want to turn on the TV one day and see that their son or daughter was shot down and killed on the streets of Chicago. Leaving was very sad. I mean, I left a lot of people behind, close friends, cousins, aunties, uncles, my grandmother and grandfather. I really didn't want to leave because I was very close to these people, and another reason why I didn't want to leave was because I was leaving them behind in that neighborhood, and I felt like it wasn't safe for them neither. My friends, they didn't want me to leave, and everyone around there, my family members, they didn't want us to leave, but we had to leave because my mom didn't want us in that environment. And like I said, it was very sad, it hurt my heart, and there's still a dent in my heart from the time we left from that community. There's a dent and it would never leave.
Freedom for Palestinians is knowing that they have their land back and they have the ability to do as they please and to act upon their culture and their ethnicity without being told what to do. Well, the issue in Palestine, there's an occupation going on between Israel and Palestine where in 1948 the Palestinian territory has been occupied by the Israeli military. So ever since then, for the past 60 years, they've been under siege and many homes have been demolished, many refugees have been kicked out of their land and now have been settled into newer areas, whether it's in Lebanon or Jordan or even into the States. So the freedom there is not what it used to be. It's a lot worse, and the Palestinian people, especially those living in the West Bank and Gaza, are struggling to get their freedom back, and their daily activities are hard to come by because it's now a struggle even to get food on their table and to even go to school because of certain checkpoints and of certain military people that they have to come across. I don't like it. It hurts when I see what's going on. You know, I have the Al Jazeera Arab news channel at my house, so I constantly see what's been going on, and when I see the homes being demolished and kids being shot at and dead bodies all over the ground, it hurts because I'm here living the luxurious life in the States, yet my people are back home and there's only so much that I can do, and you know, it's hard to give them the help that's needed because the United States doesn't always allow that kind of help geared towards them because of the Israeli connections that the United States has with them.
My freedom was actually taken away when like a part of me was kind of threatened. A really good friend of mine raped a girl that I knew that was like, she was like my sister. It was more than her that he had raped, and at the end of the day, I found out that I was actually next to be raped by him. And it wasn't like this was somebody I didn't know. This was somebody that I actually trusted and knew for a really long time, that I put a lot of trust into. He was a really good friend of mine. I trusted him with so much. He was somebody I thought that would never hurt me in that way or any type of way. And I felt betrayed, and all those images I had of him in my mind were they were just ruined. He wasn't that same person I knew. He wasn't the person I could talk to. He was scary. Like every day, I'm really different because of it. I once was someone who didn't really care about who I let in my life, but now, like, that freedom was taken away from me. I'm not as free as I normally was or how I used to be. It's hard for me to trust people now. It was the one point in time where I didn't leave by myself. I was afraid. Even after he was gone and locked up and locked away, I didn't leave by myself. Once I found out that I was next, that silenced me for a long time. So when people see me loud and laughing and having a good time, it's because I'm finally getting back to who Kendra used to be. I'm no longer afraid like I used to be. And after a while, I got tired of being afraid. So when I'm loud and when I'm having fun and when I'm having a good time, I won't be quiet. I won't stop having a good time because a long time ago, I couldn't be who Kendra was right now.
When I was in debt, I felt much more imprisoned. I felt very scared to do anything. I felt like very poor. I didn't feel free at all. When I was in my 20s, I got some credit cards. I went a little bit crazy with them, trying to impress friends, trying to impress myself. And I racked up about $26,000, $27,000 worth of credit card debt. The collection agencies would start calling. They would harass you. They'd ask you for money. You'd have to send some kind of payment or they threaten to sue you. And when I was younger, I lived with my grandmother, and I remember the Cook County Sheriff coming over to issue me a subpoena. And they actually wanted to file a lawsuit against me to collect the money that I owed on the credit card. And that was a very embarrassing moment of my life, needless to say. One day I decided that through people I know that I would probably have to file for bankruptcy because I wasn't making any money and there was nowhere else for me to turn. And the debt was just massive. It just kept exploding all over the place. When you actually file bankruptcy, and I wouldn't recommend this to everybody. Everybody's situation is different. But for me, there was a sense of freedom. There was a freedom from all that weight, all that debt was gone. You realize once you take that oath and you go to court and you tell them, yeah, I have no money and I have all these bills and I need a new start, that you feel like, okay, so there's some light at the end of the tunnel there. As I was getting older, I realized that I wanted to get married, have a family, buy a house. You can't really do all those things if you don't have credit. Well, now that my credit is improved, we have a house, we have a decent interest rate, we have a car, we can go on vacations whenever we want to travel. Life isn't as much of a headache now as it was before. I feel much more free now that I've improved my credit and improved my life.
In my story, I was the one who took away someone else's freedom. By bullying this kid, I talked about this guy consistently. I always made threats to him and everything that I was going to beat him up. I was going to embarrass him in front of all these girls. And I wouldn't be the only one, but I was the main guy doing it. I would get the whole class to talk about this guy. I literally took away his freedom to express himself, without anyone talking about him, anyone judging him, the freedom to be himself. One of the things I'm very ashamed of is me talking about his mother, when she passed away when he was younger. And at the time I thought that was very funny, and I would say horrible things like, yeah, your mom's gone, she's not there for you. Things like that, silly things that shouldn't have been said at all. One day I noticed that the guy wasn't at school one day, and another day passed, he wasn't there. Another day he wasn't there. So for I'd say about a week and a half, the kid wasn't there. I really didn't pay that much attention to it because I really didn't care. Until one day I stopped at my locker after school, and there was this note. This note was from the kid I bullied. The note said in it that, yeah, Rondell, I want you to know you're the reason I'm not coming to school anymore. You're the reason why everyone makes fun of me. You're the reason why I can't express myself. I don't even have friends anymore. You know, I feel so isolated. And he did tell me in there, like, when I did talk about his mom, it made him sometimes, you know, think about that. And he wanted to see his mom, so he thought about killing himself. And that right there just devastated me, you know. I didn't think I had that kind of, you know, power, you know, to make someone want to kill themselves. The next day at school, you know, I seen the kid, like, I told him I was sorry, you know, and he suggested to me that we should do this thing called peer mediation. This teacher sit down and talk to us. She would tell us to, like, apologize to one another. Well, he didn't really have to do any apologizing to me, but I apologized to him, you know, told him that I was sorry for what I've done, you know, and I realized my mistakes. And one of the things about being in peer mediation where we got a chance to, you know, experience each other's lives at school. So, like, one day he would hang with me and my friends, and one day I would hang with him and his friends, and really got to know the guy a little bit better and understand, well, why he was going through what he was going through. And I really learned a lot. And you know, I never want to do something like that again. I don't want to take away anyone else's freedom.
If we discuss politics or religion or corruption spread all over the country in any media, there will always be restrictions. Security will shut you down whenever you talk. When I think about my nature of my job as a TV presenter or a filmmaker or a director for shorts, I find that there are restrictions in my work. I can't show the almost entirely corrupted reality, even though I witnessed the corruption and corrupt government officials. I can't speak up until finally the revolution was realized. This revolution, which was not anticipated to take place on 25th of January, made this situation also make the government to cut all means of communication on 28th of January, such as the cell phone and the internet, thinking by that they might reduce communication among protesters and scare them. When you see the revolution in the TV, you see that it was the first time where Egyptians took really a stand and protest. All of them get out, men and women and kids, says Egypt free. Egypt free and Mubarak must go out. Egypt free and Mubarak is out. The freedom mean in my story that, like, after 30 years of being oppressed, not able to talk or express, and suddenly you find yourself can talk loudly with no fear and say enough. Enough is enough. Our country deserves the best.
There is no single definition of what freedom means. The colorful lives of people give various meanings to what it is. It can be as big as a country being free from an oppressor, or it can be as personal as someone being able to go outside the neighborhood free from fears. There is one thing that is certain, however. We all want freedom in our lives.